Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. First of all, thank you for liking my discussion of the first paper of the WBPSC Assistant Professor's Examination. And in that video, many of you have requested me to make a detailed video on how to prepare for the subject examination of English that is scheduled this Sunday, 15th of May 2022. I know this video is a little late, which is why in this video I would be only giving you last minute tips and tricks which you could use in order to optimize your performance, which you have done in the last couple of weeks or couple of months or 5 months, depending on how long you have prepared. Those of you who have been watching my channel for a very long time already know that I have done another video on a similar topic in Bangla. I will put a link somewhere upwards, you can go ahead and check that one out. In this video, I will not be repeating what I have already said in that one. So if you want a more comprehensive and a more immersive experience and guidance from my side, I recommend you to watch both of these videos. But in this video, I would be talking about the exam in itself and 4 specific things. First, from where we can get more MCQs to learn. Second, how we can remember these MCQs or the solution to these MCQs. Third is the most critical part of this examination, whether to leave or attempt a question, the answer to which you are not certain about. And finally, time management. So, welcome one and all. First, let's talk about where we can get more MCQs. Now, this would look like a question to which the answer is very obvious. MCQs are available almost everywhere, but that's not the question we are trying to answer here. The question that we are trying to answer here is that where we can get MCQs which probably would be asked in the WBPSC subject examination. In my opinion, WB set question papers are your target. Answer keys for set question papers starting from 2018 are available on the WBCSC website, the link to which I will put downwards. I also have my own set of question papers which I have downloaded from the website along with their answer keys in a Google Drive folder, the link to which again will be down in the description. I would prefer if you use that Google Drive link because the website is pretty slow. Go to the set question papers, especially the ones which have already been solved by WBCSC itself, and read the MCQs which have been asked there. Now, once you have read an MCQ, you have to understand that a question which has already been asked will not be asked in the exact same pattern in another examination. It will be flipped for you. What do I mean by that? If I give you an example, perhaps it would be easier for you to understand. For example, if the question is who has coined the term the condition of the England question, which is a question which came in 2018 set, and the answer to this is Jeremy Bentham, your question would not be exactly this in your PSC if this question is repeated. What could the possible alternative question be? Jeremy Bentham has coined one of these terms, choose that. And in that option, you will find the option, the condition of the England question. If we take into consideration another question, who has coined the term implied author? The answer to this is Wayne Booth, again a question from 2018's set. Similarly, the question will be flipped, but the most gracious opportunity for flipping the questions comes in the terms of match the followings. Match the followings are questions where there are 4 pieces of information or 5 pieces of information, depending on how many columns there are, and what they will do is they will just pick and choose one particular option or one particular information from that and then ask you. For example, toasted English is a term which is coined by R.K. Narayan, and this was asked as a match the following in 2018 set. I'm using 2018 set because I recently solved that and I have that fresh in my memory. But you can take any other set's question paper for your reference as well. Now they will, instead of giving you that exact same match the following 4 authors on the right and their 4 invented terms on the right, instead of doing that, they will just pick out one author and give you the 4 options or just the correct option and 3 other options, so that you are a little bit confused. Next, you can obviously go to the NET's question papers, but NET question papers I don't think will be very important for the WBPSC subject examination, because the people who set the set question papers, there's a high possibility that some of them would also be setting the WBPSC question paper, or maybe they won't. I don't exactly know who sets these question papers, but whoever it is, I'm sure there is a panel and it's not just one person, and they do consider past year's question papers while consulting or creating the question paper for the subject examination. I would also recommend you to look up the past year's WBPSC question paper itself. And again, I have a detailed video where I have analyzed the 100 questions which came last year in 2018. If you want to check that one out, you can check it out from the link upwards. Those questions, you can rest assured, will not be repeated, though the syllabus has remained exactly the same. Of course, WBPSC's syllabus is not the same as SET's syllabus, but there are 20 questions from the history of English literature which can easily be repeated from SET, or at least some information which has been given in the SET question paper can be used in your PSC exam. And of course, there are some of you who are still trying for JRF. If you follow this process, then your JRF preparations would also be enhanced. Next, we have to talk about the texts which are there. I've already talked about this in detail in my Bangla video, so I'm not going to repeat that. You have to make a list of MCQs from each of the texts and then mug them up. It's as simple as that. Everything else about the syllabus has already been discussed. So now let's go on to the next part about how do we go about remembering these MCQs. That's a very difficult part in my opinion. Well, I would suggest that you don't look at the other options, the incorrect options. You don't have to look at them. I know sometimes it is very tempting, or you want to know more about the other options which have been given. I can fully understand your concern and the point from where you are coming. But in this context, if you want to optimize your preparation, just read the question, understand the key words from the question: name of author, name of text, year, chronology, concept, idea, movement. What are the key words in the question and who exactly is the answer, or what exactly is the answer to that question. You don't have to remember a 4-line or a 5-line question, but just remember the key words in the question. For example, if you talk about William Golding's book Darkness Visible, then you just have to know that William Golding has written Darkness Visible and this has been taken from Paradise Lost. That's all the information that you need to know. You need to filter out the information which has been given in the question to increase its length. Just remember the key words from the questions and the answer to it. If you want, you can write them down, just the keywords dash the answer. I would recommend doing this by hand and not on a computer, because if you write it down using your hand, your brain remembers it better, I think. And I think some study has already proved this. I don't know more about that, but I personally believe this to be true, and I have found this to be true in my life and in the lives of many other people I know. But please try and understand, the most important part about acing any examination is not just the preparation, but how you optimize it, how you perfect it in the last couple of days, last 3 days, last 4 days, which is why I have made this video. So please revise your MCQs time and time again. Even if you feel that you have marked up everything, please read them from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the right in random orders, and ask your friends to ask you questions from those MCQs. Give them the solved MCQs or the solved set papers, the solved net papers. Ask them to call you up, and then make sure you answer these questions honestly. And whenever you are not being able to point out the answer to a particular question, please note it down in your notebook, and then you can go ahead. Next, we will talk about one of the most important questions of any MCQ examination which has negative marking. Unlike NET and SET, WBPSC has a negative marking of 0.33 or minus 1/3 of a single mark if you get a question's answer wrong. So the question is, if you don't know the answer to a particular question, what should you do? Should you attempt it or should you leave it out? I'm going to give a very controversial opinion in this context. I know most educators, teachers, seniors of mine would say that it's best to leave things out if you don't know. In my opinion, not so. Attempt as many questions as you want to. I would suggest, there are 70 questions I believe in the next day. I would suggest you to attempt at least 65, even if you know like 50, because the law of probability dictates that for every question you attempt, you have 1/4 chance of getting it right. And of course, you're not just going to tick or circle any random option, right? You're going to think about it. What could be the possible correct answer? And when you are thinking, you are eliminating. Of course, there will be options like last day when we were discussing the antonym of agony. There were two options which were not at all relevant. There were just two options. So you just have a chance of 50-50 of getting it right. So there will be many questions where you have a 50-50 or a 1/3 chance of getting your answer right. Please attempt those questions. Be very meticulous in choosing which questions to attempt. For example, if you don't know the answer to 21, choose 12, 13, 14 questions where you have a chance of getting it right. I would suggest you to avoid only those questions about which you have absolutely no clue or idea. Only if you do this, I think you will do better, because if you attempt 50 questions, in my opinion, I don't think you will qualify the written anyway. Last year the cutoff was around 90. This year the cutoff will be a little lower because of the general paper, in my opinion, but still it won't be lower than 85, I believe. So at least have to give yourself an opportunity to score that. If you leave out 20 questions here, and even out of the 50 you are attempting, there will be a scope of you getting 2 or 3 wrong. So attempt as many as you can. At least that way you have a chance of making it. You also have a chance of not making it, but that chance will always be there. So that is my tip about what to attempt and what to leave out. And finally, about time management. This has not been discussed in great detail by anyone in my knowledge, but time is very short in the PSC examination, especially since we are given an OMR sheet. I would suggest you fill up OMR sheets in your home. They are available on Amazon, in College Street, and I'm sure everyone has spare OMR sheets in their home from the times when they were in class 12 or bachelor degree entrance or MA entrance. Please use them. Try to pick up your speed of filling those circles. I remember when I began practicing OMRs, it took me about 14 minutes to fill up 100 circles. Now it takes me about 9.5. So I have saved in effect 5 minutes or so. And these 5 minutes will be very crucial, because there will be times, especially if they give comprehension based questions, where the question itself will take up a lot of your time, and then you have to also circle it perfectly, color it perfectly so that the computer is able to detect it. So please practice filling up your OMRs. Please practice answering a question immediately if you know it. Don't leave it out for later. If you tick it, just circle it immediately in the OMR sheet and move on to the next one. And don't circle those questions in the OMR sheet about which you're not 100% certain. Do that in the later half of the exam. Of course, this is very easy to say and a little difficult to execute. I have been practicing this. If you have practiced this, then you won't have a hard time. But in general, this is my time management tip. Practice your OMR sheets at home. So these are my last minute tips and tricks. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you have any questions, please ask them down in the comment box. I will see everyone in the next video, where I will discuss the subject papers question if they give it to us. Till then, hasta la vista.